Hello everybody, it is the Pauper J, and I am back with some more Son of Yawgmoth content for Commander, and today we have a deck tech. If you haven't already, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, tell me I'm a faggot in the comments, and let's get on with the damn video. If you haven't seen already, Son of Yawgmoth is a 7-mana black commander, but 3 of it is Phyrexian black. Legendary creature, horror minion, lifelink. For each blackened costs, you may pay 2 life rather than pay that mana. Whenever you cast a black spell, put a +1/+1 counter on Crick. He's a 2/2, so if you cast a whole bunch of black spells, you might be able to get him to a 10/10. The fact that he has lifelink means you'll start making up for that life you've lost. He's overall broken and the best mono black commander ever printed because he's legendary. And getting onto the deck list, here's something really good about him. You know how about Gitaxian Probe? Oh, pay 2 life and be really good. Pay 2 life and draw a card? Yeah, that seems pretty good. We're going to play 10 Gitaxian Probes while he's out. One of those is Horror of the Broken Lands. By the way, we don't get to see their hands, but it's free card draw. It has cycling. The rest of the card really doesn't matter, but it has cycling, and you can pay 2 life for that when your commander's out. It allows you to get through your deck. So that's Horror of the Broken Lands, Lurching Rugby, same scenario. Scarab Feast can also be used to get rid of graveyard card stuff. You know, when your opponents have cards in the graveyard you need to get rid of. Razaketh's Right. It's also going to be used as a tutor, and actually fairly fine tutor with your commander out. Pay 3 mana for a tutor. Not bad, but also cycling, so you can use them to cycle through. It's just really good. Street Wraith, it always can be like that. Cremate, you have to exile a card from a graveyard, so this one can be a little bit worse, but it's instant speed, draws a card. It's okay, especially if one of your opponents have something going on. Aphotic Wisps, target creature becomes black and gains fear until end of turn. We can use this on our commander to get in for damage and then draw a card. Night Haze, same thing except for Swamp Walk. Barren Moor is also a land, but you can use it for the cycling. This is really good. Sign in Blood, it's this on steroids, so you end up paying a total of 6 life, but you draw 2 cards. Not bad, not bad. Mana Crypt, so this is on to our Mana Rep package, because we want to get our commander out. Turn 1, this is the point of the deck, is try to turn 1, turn 2, win the game. So Mana Crypt, at the beginning of your upkeep, flip a coin, you lose the flip, deals 3 damage to you, but it's 0 mana, add 2 to your mana pool. It's basically 1 card, like this plus Soul Ring on turn 1 means your commander gets out. Mana Vault, same scenario, except it's 1 mana, but it adds 3, but it doesn't untap if you don't do something, blah, blah, blah. You're only going to activate it once in this deck, it doesn't really matter. Grim Monolith, same kind of scenario, except it's 2 mana now, and it adds 3, colorless, so it's still okay. It's a worse version of Mana Vault in a way. Lotus Petal, so it's for 0 mana, you can sacrifice it and add 1 mana to your mana pool. That's also good. So this plus Mana Vault plus Swamp on turn 1 equals your commander out. Dark Ritual, 1 black, add 3 black. This plus Soul Ring on turn 1 equals your commander out. Cabal Ritual, yeah, Cabal Ritual is really good. So it's basically a worse Dark Ritual, unless you have Threshold, then it's really good. Mox Diamond, so the Mox is in this deck, so you just basically have to discard a card, this one in the land, and then it comes down for 0 mana. Adds 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. This plus a Mana Crypt plus Swamp on turn 1 equals your commander out. Lake of the Dead, also this plus Dark Ritual as well. Lake of the Dead, so this one's a little bit worse. You can only do it on turn 3 basically, unless you have to find a way and get 2 swamps into play like turn 2. That's not possible with the deck right now. But so it comes into play, basically sacrifice a swamp. It can tap for black, or if you sacrifice a swamp, it can add 4. So turn 3, you have 2 swamps out, you tap those, you add 2, you play Like the Dead, you end up sacking both of them, you add 4, you have a total of 6 in your mana pool. Chrome Mox, same thing, except you have to remove a non-artifact, non-land, same as the other Mox over here. But you have to remove a non-artifact, non-land card from your hand from the game. Then you can add 1 mana of any of the imprinted cards colors to your mana pool. It doesn't matter, we only need colorless really. Blood Celebrant, so this combos off with our commander, because we can pay it for 2 life and then pay its ability for 2 life. You can just pay 3 life every time you want a mana to your mana pool. So this is going to get rid of all the colorless costs, because we're just going to pay 2 for the black cost on our cards. But for the colorless costs, we have to actually find mana for that. So Blood Celebrant says, hey, well, now it's Phyrexian, but it's 3 mana now. Just a really good card overall. You're going to find yourself tutoring or winning this card a lot. It allows you to just play through your cards. Gemstone Caverns, this is a reason for you to pick the player next to you to go first, so you can go second. Because if it's in your opening hand, you may begin the game with it on the battlefield. And then on to your turn, you get to play your land per turn. By the way, you have to remove a land from your hand from the game if you do that action thing, but it does accelerate you. This, if you have like a mana crypt plus gemstone plus 2 lands in your hand, get rid of 1 for the gemstone, play the land. Also allows your commander to come out turn 1. Soul Ring, we've said this 1,000 times. Really good card. You play it. Here we go on to tutors. So Grim Tutor is all the way at the back. We'll get to that later, but it's a Monic Tutor. This is the OG tutor, not the OG, but probably the OG. But it's one of the best tutors out there. It is the best tutor for going to your hand out there. Cruel Tutor, set your library or set your deck for any card, library deck, whatever. This is actually to the top. So I don't know if this one's actually legal. I'm pretty sure this is legal, yeah. But set your deck for any card. Put that shuffle your deck and put that card on top of it. This is the top of the deck tutor. So the cycling cards from earlier that I was talking about, if we have those in our hand while we use a top deck tutor, we can actually get it into our hand by cycling. You see the synergy right there? We got like 10 of those effects. Really good. Another one with Vampiric Tutor. This is a more known one. Search your library for a card, then shuffle your library and put that card on top of it. You lose 2 life. This is instant speed, so if we need to do this like on someone else's turn, we can to fool people. Imperial Seal is basically this card without instant speed. Imperial Seal is way more expensive as well, money-wise. Beseech the Queen. So this is technically a 6-drop, but we can end up paying 6 life instead, because actually it's black as well. That's the top thing. Search your library for a card with converted mana cast less than or equal to number of lands you control. Reveal it and put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. So this is also really good. So you can go ahead with your commander out, pay 6 life to play this, grab the Blood Celebrant, I think it was, and then just add a whole bunch of mana to your mana pool so you can play your other spells in your hand and just keep on going to combo off. Really good, really good. Scheming Symmetry, this is another top deck tutor, but only your opponents gets to use it. And they actually usually get to do it before you because of the sorcerer speed. But if we get to use our cycle thing and get it to our hand first, that means we get to use it first, and that breaks the symmetry of Scheming Symmetry. Liliana Vest is another top deck tutor, like I've been talking about. It puts 5 mana. You can decide not to play this. It's actually not that efficient, but I like it for the deck. For 3 mana, you get to search the top of your library with your commander out. It's not bad. The deck's all about having your commander out anyways. Diabolic Intent is a bad demonic tutor. So as an additional cost to play Diabolic Intent, you have to sacrifice a creature. But then it's demonic tutor from the rest of the way down. Diabolic Tutor, another bad version. It's 4 mana instead. You can just pay 4 life at the top with your commander out, so library for a card. This is going to allow you to grab cards like Doomsday. Dark Petition. This is actually can be a free spell. Just you have to pay 4 life still, but you search your library for a card, put it into your hand, and then if you have Spell Mastery, boom, you get your 3 mana back. It's a good trade, which is actually just enough to play Doomsday. Demir Mechanizations. So this card looks at the top 3 cards, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't matter. It's transmute. So you can transmute it if you can pay the 4 life for the transmute cost for 1 mana, tutor a card with converted mana cost 3, because that's how transmute works. This one's for 2, so you grab a card with converted mana cost 2. Brain Spoil, you grab a card with converted mana cost 5. Netherborn Phoenix grabs a card with converted mana cost 6. By the way, this one you're usually going to probably go grab Doomsday. This is for that. This one can grab Demonic Tutor or some other 2-drop you need hanging out, like excuse me. There are Blood Artists. I can go grab Blood Artist. Brain Spoil grabs the 5-drop combo pieces for the infinite life gain, infinite life drain thing, and then Phoenix grabs Bolas the Citadel. Grey Merchant of Asphodel is another card you can grab with this 5 mana spell. This is how we're going to keep our life total up and drain our opponents out. So it's not rare for this deck to have 10 devotion on the battlefield. So you play Grey Merchant of Asphodel, You gain 30 life because it's for each for life lost this way. Each your opponent loses 10 life. Now you've just negated the whole effect of you having to pay life. You keep them good to go down your deck again. Essence Harvest is my own little spice for the deck. As your commander gets bigger in power due to the fact you're playing black spells, you're going to be able to have target player lose 5, 7 life, and you gain that much life because he's going to be the biggest creature you control. A single nate, it's similar. Each opponent loses X life, you gain life, you go to life loss this way. It's just going to be really good when you can pump 7 mana into this and just gain a whole bunch of life. It's not going to be it's not good compared to our combat pieces, but it's really sometimes you gotta just find cards. There's probably more efficient cards you can play in the slot, but I like this card right here. Exquisite Blood and Epicure Blood is an infinite combo. So there is Sanguine Bond, but we don't play it here because that combo can be stopped by someone just conceding in response, which is called king making. I've talked about it in another video. Horrible thing that 3 multiplayer can do, and it's horrible. But these ones, no matter what, will kill everyone, and as long as they can't lose, as long as they can win, as long as they can lose the game, or you can't win the game, as long as nothing's weird going on, you're good, and this just wins the game. Whenever you gain life, each opponent loses 1 life. Whenever an opponent loses life, gain that much life, goes off. You can either, if you have one of these, you tutor for it and you play the other one, or if you have the transmute one, you can grab the other one. Viscera Seer, so sacrifice a creature, scry 1. If you have an infinite sack outlet, which we have plenty of in this deck, you can scry through your whole deck, then use one of your cycling cards to grab it off and then win the game. Ashnod's Altar, sacrifice a creature, add 2 mana to your mana pool. This is also going to allow us to do infinite combos. A lot of times you're going to want a sack outlet for infinite combos. If we don't have a thing to win the game, this also, if we have an infinite sack outlet, we have infinite mana, which may allow us to do some stuff at the time. It's just a really good card. Blood for Bones, 4 mana, as additional cost is to play this spell. Sacrifice a creature. Return a creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield, then return another creature card from your graveyard to your hand. This is a good way to recur a Great Merchant of Asphodel, because you're going to really want to play him a lot of times. We have a more recursion in the deck. You can keep this one out. This one isn't actually the best. This is just right here for now. Blood Artist, we all know about Blood Artist. Really good card. Whenever it or another creature dies, target player loses 1 life, you gain 1 life. We're going to want to keep our life total high. This gaining us some life is really good. Sudden Spoiling. This is against the other creature combo decks, and when our opponent goes to swing at us for a trash ton amount of damage while we're at a low life. We can turn them on to 0/2s, block with our commander, gain us some life. It's just really good. Also, because there comes 0/2s, this doesn't even target them. So if a creature has hexproof, this even gets around that, I believe. Yeah, target, as long as they don't have hexproof, you hit them with it. Oh, now your commander who had hexproof doesn't even have hexproof anymore. I'm a block, boom, wada bang. That's just good. Walking Ballista combos off with Mycaius the Unhallowed. If you want to learn more about this combo, you can look it up. But basically, every time this dies, it comes back with a +1/+1 counter on it. You have to find a way to sacrifice it, but if you can sacrifice it or have a Blood Artist effect on the battlefield, you win the game. Putrid Goblin plus Mycaius equals another infinite sack outlet, because Persist and Undying, they cycle each other because you can't have a +1/+1 counter and a -1 counter on a creature, so just keep on cycling. You have an infinite sack outlet. Yawgmoth Physician. So this goes off with either this and 2 other creatures, or 2 Undying creatures. So this is an infinite combo for drawing cards. It's not completely infinite, but you're going to be able to draw through your deck, do your combo stuff. It's just really good. Gravecrawler as well. There's just a way that you can just get a whole bunch of mana out of this. He just comes back a whole bunch of times. You can opt out of playing this. There's just combos that works with it, like, because you can just pay 2 life to keep on bringing him back and killing him. There's just ways to win the game with that. Doomsday, search your library and graveyard for 5 cards and exile the rest. Put the chosen cards on top of your library in any order. You lose half your life rounded up. You can turn 1 Doomsday, put your combo pieces on, cycle some cards, lose some life, and then there's a whole bunch of different ways you can stack your library. If you hit it off of Bolas and Citadel, it's even better. But you can run into bolas, citadel, aetherflux, reservoir. You put 2 0 drops right here, and then you run into ever after, and then you end up gaining infinite life and draining everyone for infinite damage with aetherflux, reservoir, because you're gonna end up gaining a whole bunch of life. Sensei's Divining Top plus bolas, citadel into aetherflux, reservoir is also infinite, and because you have this in your deck, you'll be able to do that and win the game. Necropotence is a way for bolas, citadel to skip lands. It just moves lands off the top because you can look at the lands. If you haven't read bolas, citadel, here it is. Look at the top card of your library anytime. You may play the top card of your library. If you cast a spell this way, pay life equal to its converted mana cost rather than pay its mana cost. Sacrifice 10 non-permanents. Each opponent loses 10 life. So if you have, since it's Divining Top or Necropotence on, you can even play one land, but you basically, if you can keep lands off the top of your library, you get to play all your cards, and whenever you cast a spell, you gain 1 life for each spell cast this turn with aetherflux, reservoir. You pay 10 spells, you just keep on gaining 10, 20 life, and even though you have to lose life from this, you end up gaining more life, and because your graveyard can't go empty with ever after in it, because you're going to keep on casting it, you don't even need targets for it, you just end up killing everyone no matter what. Reanimate and Animate Dead. These are good for your combo pieces if they're in the graveyard and you need to get them back. Or they are really good for if you can sacrifice a Grey Merchant of Asphodel, you reanimate it, you keep your life gain triggers going. It's just really important to be able to do that. This is my little spice I like to do, is Awaken the Erstwhile. So for 5 mana, each player discards all the cards in their hand, then creates that many 2/2 black zombie creature tokens. If you have your commander out while this happens, although everyone's going to have a really big board, as long as you don't tap your commander, you can just keep them blocking their creatures and end up not losing a whole bunch of life. And as everyone swings at you, you'll just keep on gaining life. And when you go to your turn, you'll just be very happy because you might be able to combo off with what's ever on the board. I don't know. This is just something I like. You probably have a bigger board state than everyone else anyways. Victimize. So choose 2 cards and 2 target creature cards in your graveyard. Sacrifice a creature. If you do, return the chosen cards to the battlefield tapped. There are tons of 2-card combos in this deck. You can throw them into the graveyard with Buried Alive. This is just a little reanimator package I like. I think it's interesting. Carrion Feeder, you can play this if you want to for the extra sack outlet. If you don't, you don't have to. It is a zombie, so it's a relative creature type for Gravecrawler. But if you have an infinite sack outlet, then you have an infinite big Carrion Feeder. But that probably isn't going to win you the game. But infinite big Carrion Feeder isn't bad. Grim Tutor, it's a bad demonic tutor, but still it's another tutor. It should be all the way up there, but I messed up. And then throw a Parasite, 1 mana for a 1/1, but has Extort. So whenever you cast a spell, you may pay black or white. If you do, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life, but you gain that much life. So if you play a black spell and then you extort it, you pay 2 life from your commander, you'll end up actually gaining 1 life in that, because if there's 3 other players, they'll each lose 1 life and you'll gain a life. So it actually just kind of helps you keep your life total up while draining everyone else out. Also, it has pay 2 life, remove a counter from target non-land permanent. That's not actually really relevant unless like they have a Planeswalker on 1 or something. And then there's Pestilence. At the end of turn, if there's no creatures in place, sacrifice Pestilence. So for a black, Pestilence deals 1 damage to each creature and each player. If your opponents are either at a lower life total than you or something else dumb, you can start paying 2 life to just make Pestilence do a whole bunch of damage to them. Then there was just the cards back here that whenever an opponent loses life, you gain that much life. This actually just really helps with that, because you can go, okay, pay 2 life, deal 1 damage to everyone. I'll end up gaining a life, and this continues on. Problem is you have to keep your commander on board to be able to do that. But yeah, they'll just keep on going on and on and on and on and on. You should be able to kill everyone else like that. Also, it just works as a board wipe. If you really need that board wipe, it is there. So yeah, but yeah, let's go all the way back. All the way back. Yeah. I didn't know if I said anything about it since it's Divining Top, but you tap, draw a card, put it back onto its owner's library, and that allows you to also move away from the lands if you didn't know that. Boop, boop. Okay, but yeah, just 1,000 freaking black combos that you can play. There's also Triskelion you can play with my KSD Unhallowed and Walking Ballista, but that isn't really that important. But yeah, this is basically This isn't probably the finest tuned version of the deck, but I think this might be the most full deck list you're going to get anyone. You run like 31 swamps. You can run some utility, like colorless utility lands, or like I think like cards like Wasteland in here. But remember, if it's in the only land in your opening hand, it might stop you from comboing off. They're also usually expensive. You can do what you want with that slot. Yeah, you run like 31 swamps, and then there's like 3 other land cards up here, like Gemstone Caverns, Lake of the Dead, and then the Cycle land. So it's a total of 34 lands in the deck. I have not put out a deck list for this like as a physical copy yet. If you guys want a physical copy of this, just comment down below, and I will get it out to you as soon as possible. I'll probably end up putting it in the description, and maybe even making an MTG Goldfish list of it, and then putting the description there. Whatever needs to happen. But yeah, I think I am very happy with how this list turns out. He is such an interesting, he's not really interesting, he's just such a fun commander because he's turned a whole bunch of different cards into a wholly different card, making them way more efficient, giving you a whole bunch of choices. Like, you're going to have to think, should I pay mana here or should I pay life? With life, if I draw something important, I can play it, but if I pay mana here, I won't lose the game as fast, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, this has been the Pauper J. If you enjoyed this deck tech / piece of trash video that I made after I worked hours on that 5 people are going to watch, hit that like button, subscribe, go comment, hey, you should probably put this deck or this card in this deck or that card in this deck, and I will see you guys in the next video.